Okay, let's look at some analysis. Now we've got some queries set up to aid in the analysis. All the queries, all the standard queries are parameterized, so it's helpful to know team names, which shouldn't be all that hard. Philadelphia Phillies or Milwaukee Brewers, that type of thing. The year, which would be 1990 through 2009 rather. And also the tricky one would be the player key. So this query right here will give us a list of player names for a particular year. So if I go in here and say Milwaukee Brewers and 2009, a query will come out to tell me here are all the different players. So Prince Fielder is number 4460. And that might be helpful if I'm going to drill down with him. In a typical presentation layer or application, there'd be a drop down or a search bar or something like that, but I think that's a little bit beyond the scope of this project. These other queries here, as I mentioned, are parameterized well, actually 4.2 to 4.5 are parameterized, and they're used in my reports. This was something I was playing with to come up with some comparison stats for the different leagues and the different positions and their overall stats. It's really not that flexible, and it's really an example of why certain things should be done in another tool, and I show how to get to that a lot easier in the next video, which uses Excel pivot tables. Each one of these queries goes into the batting facts table and all the associated dimensions, and all we're doing is pulling all of the relevant data but parameterizing it in this case by player. So let's go look at the reports that we have created to do some simple analysis. This first report, we'll click on it and it's going to ask us which year do we want to look at, and we'll say 2009, and it returns for us the individual player batting statistics for each team in both leagues. So 2009, first the American League, Baltimore Orioles. We'll have a section that will show us the non-pitchers, and then following that will be the pitchers and all of the various statistics. These are the additive facts. G_B is games that batted. So this person batted in 78 games, had 198 total at-bats, 44 hits. This is a calculated field, the batting average. So that would be 44 divided by 198. The total bases over the year, that divided by the at-bats gives you the slugging percentage, RBIs, home runs, walks, strikes, and the walk to strike ratio. So another calculation. So we have three calculations here, plus we have a summary layer. Oop, went a little bit too far there. Plus we have a summary layer for the pitchers and then the overall team. You'll see, looking at these pictures, we've got some error values, and that those are occurring because we're dividing by 0. I'm sure that there's a way around that, as you could do that in Excel. I just did not get to that. Another report that we have is player career batting statistics. So here's where we can pick a player, and for kicks, let's pick Sammy Sosa. Oh, I'm sorry, not Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds, you can see, spent a few years with the Pirates and then most of his career with the Giants. And he was in the National League. He was a non-pitcher all of those years. He's got all of these different stats. Now, one thing that I think is kind of interesting to look at here is his home runs, since he was considered one of the home run kings. And he floats around in the 30 to 40 range, and then, whoa, all of a sudden in 2001, he shoots all the way up to 73. comes back down into the 40s, and then stops taking steroids. Oh, that was a political comment there. But his home runs dwindled down to about half of what the previous run rate was. So this particular report is only showing one player, but it is giving overall statistics. Good old Barry had a 309 average for his career. If you analyze it a little bit, though, there are only a few years where he was over that 300, but they were big years, especially these two in here. I've lost my mouse. It's a problem with working with dual screens. It was over on the other screen. One other report to look at, and this is batting statistics by player. I'll just pick a year. I'm sorry, not by player, but by team. So it summarizes for 2008 all of the teams in the American League, and followed by the National League, and their overall batting averages. So we can do some analysis on this. Not as flexible, again, as using pivot tables, but it is analytical nonetheless. So the next video will be on pivot tables.